Hey people, welcome back again on this special edition that talks about the experiences of my trips and anecdotes and weird situations I've been through. This is the second part that's related to the eastern part of the world, and let's not lose time, let's get into it. And let's start from the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic, I've been there with one of my friends, and we went there soon after one of the biggest flood that actually invaded an old district, the Jewish district in Prague. I visited only Prague, only the capital, and I was there, of course, as a tourist. And the only thing that I can remember apart this unfortunate situation about the flood, it was that when we went to pubs, at that time, I don't know if it's still like this, but at that time, those pubs were working like that. If you sit in one of those bars, they immediately bring you a beer, like a pint of beer, without asking. It's just they suppose that you are there for drinking, or at least this is the normal thing. So they do not wait for you to order beers, but they just count with sticks how many beers have you taken so far. And you shouldn't order, but you have to say stop when you don't want any other beer. And at the end, I remember that I got 7 in the same evening, because as soon as you finish one, they bring another one. And we were just in a good mood and decided to continue. Of course, we were totally drunk at the end. Then Slovakia. Slovakia is, of course, it was part of the same country, so they share a lot. But here, the only thing that I can remember is the amazing people that I met there. I was there through couchsurfing when I spent the New Year's Eve in Vienna in the same trip, and I've been hosted through couchsurfing. And I just remember one night that we went to a club with one guy from France that is actually with Vietnamese origin, and it was an extremely funny night that we had all together. That's the only thing that I can remember, just about memories about the people and the experience itself that I had. Then we move a little bit in the south, in Slovenia. Slovenia, well, there are just the only anecdote that I can remember, apart from discovering the rakia, which is it's called maybe in a different way, but that's the one that I discovered when I was there. It was rakia with honey, which is like a sort of distilled liquor from this region, from the Balkans region, and I found it very tasty. In general, rakia is not exactly the type of, the original one, the type of drink that I like. And the only interesting anecdote that I can't remember is that the capital, Ljubljana, was the girl that hosted me. She told me about this city that was crowded on the weekend, especially at night. And the funny thing, I was there was no one around, and I was mocking her for all the time because there were no people around. But they were in some pubs and some bars that we have visited, and I really enjoy my time there. Then we move a little bit on the southeast, and we go to Croatia. I've been to Zagreb, the capital, and there the only thing that I can remember about, except the fact that they smoke a lot, is that they are tall. They're the tallest people I ever met in my life. Girls and boys, they're all really tall. And another experience is again about flood, but in this situation happened at home. Of the girl that was hosting me. Her washing machine broke down and a lot of water flew all around the flat. And we spent the whole day just drawing all the water in all the possible way outside her flat. It was funny, but at the same time, like, not really nice for the girl. Okay, then we move on the south. And we got to Serbia. Serbia is one of my favorite countries at all, and it was one of the best experiences that I had in my trip. I spent there 2 weeks. It was extremely cheap. I traveled all around the country. The most amazing moment my last stop was in the capital, in Belgrade, and I spent like 3 nights there. And at the beginning, I didn't enjoy that much the city, because I thought that something was wrong about the city. I couldn't find like a lot of fun in it. But before going to Serbia, I was able to organize a potluck on a place of one of the couch surfers that hosted this potluck. And there I got to know some people, especially the owner. And when I was complaining about the fact Yeah, I know, it sounds bad, but I was complaining about the fact that it wasn't that funny city. She didn't accept my words, and on my last night of my trip, because the day after I was flying back to my country, she took me away with one of her friends, and it was one of the most amazing night of my entire experience in my travels. And it completely upside down my opinion about Belgrade, which is extremely good now. And really, I really enjoyed my time. People in Serbia are amazing, and I will always bring it in my heart. Then we moved to Hungary. In Hungary I've been twice, but the anecdote I'm going to talk about, it's about my very first experience. It was also my very first real trip in Eastern Europe. And I spent it there with 3 of my, let's call it friends to make it easier. And we spent our vacation on the Lake Baikal, on the riverside, on the lakeside of Lake Baikal, in a village that is called Siofok. This is let's say, a vacational village. There are of course some locals living there, but it's crowded. I don't know if it's still like that now, because a lot of time passed since I've been there, because it was my first experience. Well, the experience was amazing. I enjoyed a lot. In this place, most of the tourists were from Germany, and there, of course, there were some other people from other countries, and I really enjoyed my time there. But I have one anecdote that I want to tell you about, and it was we spent most of our evenings in a bar called Renegade, and this place was amazing. The DJ was really funny. He chose great music. We were dancing and drinking every night till early morning. And one night especially, I remember that this place was so crowded that people used to use the window to get in and out of the bar. And once when I was trying to get back, to get into the bar again from the window, there was another guy who was going out, and he was holding 2 vodka in his hand, and we were like in a stall situation, because we didn't know if I should pass first or he should pass first. So at the end, it was just looking at the vodka, look at me, give him 1 vodka, made a toast and drink it. And that was literally one of the most funny situation I have. We had a lot of others, of course, because there was an amazing trip, and I really enjoyed my time in Siofok for that vacation. Okay, after Hungary, we moved to Poland. Well, Poland, wow, what to say about Poland? I've been there twice. Polish people are probably, like, I don't know, the most craziest people I've ever met. Okay, if we don't talk about Russians, of course. But Poland, really, I spent the most amazing New Year's Eve of my life. It was the New Year's Eve of 2000, the year 2000. We went there with a group of people, and we were laughing all the time, because the group itself was so funny. But the experience that I had there was amazing. Literally, the people in Warsaw, we spent the New Year's Eve, we spent 3 nights, like 4 days in Warsaw. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. But the funny thing that I want to talk about, we went there, I'm not gonna tell you now why, but we ended up to sleep in the suburbs of Warsaw in a nunnery. So we were with nuns, with nuns there. And they were hosting only girls, but they made an exception of us because we didn't have a place to stay, because there were too many people for that evening that we were going to take to attend. And so they accept us as an exception, and it was amazing, because we always try to communicate with girls that were there when we're spending time with them. And every time the nuns came into the room and just was shouting at the girls because found them guilty of bringing us into their room. And it was really amazing time that I spent there. We really had a lot of fun. But besides that, I mean, the people that we met in Warsaw were amazing. So I have a great memories about the New Year's Eve. Poland, it was great. Then we moved to Romania. In Romania, it was like an international exchange with the group. And we were totally full of stereotypes about Romania. I went there a long time ago. It was like 1998, so you might imagine we even needed a visa. Now Romania is in the European country. At that time it wasn't absolutely. It was not long time after the the revolution, I think. It was some kind of revolution, I think, in Romania. And it was extremely, extremely poor. And when we entered the country, we had this impression to go back like 15 years in the past. And we didn't have great expectation about the group that was hosting us and was accompanying us during the trip. And but at the end, those people were amazing, really the most warm-hearted people we met, probably, and I met also in my life. And they even, for example, when we spent a night into like camping in a sort of bungalow, they even built showers for us. So the first day we went to wash ourselves into the river, and the day after we had shower that they built it for us. That was really amazing people. So they totally upside down our perception and our vision of this country because of those people. After Romania, Bulgaria. In Bulgaria, I spent only 3 days in the city of Plovdiv, which is exactly in the center of Bulgaria. Well, same story here. Great people I met there through couchsurfing. I also organized another, not a real potluck, but we went to a restaurant, so I collect some people, and we had an amazing night. I had a lot of fun there with the people. And the only thing that I could say that I flew there with Ryanair, and the airport was a military airport, and there was only our airplane there. No one, no other planes that were present. And we had to walk from there was no buses or nothing that were taking us from the plane to the airport. So we had just walked we just walked outside in the airport, in open air from the plane to the airport. Okay, after Bulgaria, Turkey. In Turkey I spent New Year's Day there. I was there with my cousin, and the most interesting experience, that I can't remember, apart from the city, which is amazing, really beautiful, and a lot of things to see, it was when in the bazaar, there is a huge bazaar, an entire district is a bazaar there in Turkey, and I was there with my cousin buying some souvenirs, and my cousin wanted to buy a souvenir there, some souvenirs, and I was, when he was trying to buy, you have to know that in Turkey there are no prices. Every time the owner of the shop or the seller just asks you how much money do you want to pay for it. So I started with a very low price. I started to negotiating with him, and at the end, after 20 minutes of negotiation, no, maybe 20 minutes no, but like 15 for sure, I got this souvenir for a lot lower prices that my cousin was expecting to buy it. And he thanked me a lot, and when we were leaving, the seller told us, "You are better negotiating than me." I don't know if it was the truth or not, but it was an interesting situation that I experienced when I was there in Turkey. Okay, after Turkey, Moldova. Moldova is a part of the trips on the real east, and that most of the eastern part of Europe I traveled through using couchsurfing. In Moldova, I was part of the same trip when I visited Ukraine too. So I'm gonna talk about Ukraine later too. Moldova, it's probably the country that I like the least, unfortunately. It's very, very poor, and also like run down in some way. It's the facility, everything, it doesn't look really good. The only thing good, the only plus about Moldova is the wine and the food, which are pretty good. But for the rest, really, I'm sorry for people from Moldova, but I didn't like this country at all. And we also took a chance to visit another country, which is not recognized from the majority of the countries in the world, that is called Pridnestrovie or Transnistria, which is a country that is like a slice of land of Moldova that declare independence, but is not recognized from the country itself, from Moldova. So for Moldova, it's just a region of a country, but itself, it declared to be a country itself. And by fact, it is a country because they have borders, they have border guard. And the only thing that I can tell you about this country, because we spent like about 6 hours, because it's very small, we were in the city of Tiraspol, which is the capital, is that they have their own cash, their own money, which you can use only there. You can't change it outside. They have no values outside of Pridnestrovie, so you can use it only there. They have rubles because they are strictly connected to Russia. And if you want to know why, just looking through the internet, you will find the reason why it's recognized by Russia. Okay, after Moldova, then we moved to Ukraine, that, as I told you, was part of the same trip. It was in 2011, and the reason why I visited Ukraine and Moldova too, it was because I wanted to visit Chernobyl, and I've been to Chernobyl too. But I'm not talking about Chernobyl now. You have to know that after this trip to Ukraine, I fell in love with this country and I decided to visit it several times. And almost all the places in Ukraine I've been to, let's say at least around the country itself, from the east to the west, to the south and the north. Lviv remains the best city I've been to among all the places I've been to in my life. I've been there 5 times because I found this city amazing, really wonderful. But the anecdote that I want to talk about is about Zaporozhye, which is on the western part in another trip that I've been in the eastern part of Ukraine, close to the Donbas region. And that was the most amazing experience I had, because Zaporozhye is one of the worst cities I haven't been to, really dirty and ugly to see. But I met, like, the couple that hosted me was so good and so warm-hearted. We had so much fun that I decided to spend 2 more nights at their place instead of going back to Donetsk, where I was planning to spend the last 2 nights. And we had a lot of fun, we cooked together, we even realized a video about Harlem Shake that at that time was a meme. A lot of people were doing it because it was a birthday of one of their friends, and I really enjoyed the time I spent there. We had a bike trip to the island of Hortica, which is a place of Kazakh, because there are Kazakh that took place in this island, and there were like exhibition and shows, and it was really amazing. Then after Ukraine, Belarus. Well, Belarus is one of the weirdest countries I've been to, really. It was in 2012 I visited Belarus, and I traveled all around the countries. And really, I found at that time Belarusian people, most of them alienated. Really, they have fear of everything. They are scared about everything. That was the first time in my life when I realized what doesn't mean living under a dictatorship. There is still Lukashenko there. Now I think Belarus is a little bit different. It's more like westernized. They started to open the borders, but at that time was still quite close country. But even that, as usual, I met very good people, and the most amazing experience was in the city of Brest. And talking about Brest, which is interesting name for a city, I was traveling from Grodno to Brest by bus, because there were not a direct train that was taking me there, and I decided to take a bus, a night bus. That was an interesting trip, really, and extremely weird, because this bus was a very bad condition. The road were in very bad conditions, and I was traveling all night with bumps all the time, because there were not suspenders in working, they were broken, so you felt all the single bumps on the road, and plus the back of the seats was broken too. So I was like trying to find equilibrium the whole night. It was really, when I arrived at Brest, it's just, thanks God I'm still alive. And the funny thing is, I didn't know if I could sleep somewhere, because I didn't book any hotel, and I was waiting for a person that at the last minute accepted to hosting me. This was a really adventure. But still, Belarus was an interesting experience so far. I mean, really interesting. I can't say that I like it a lot, because of like this kind of weird attitude that most of the people have there, but it was interesting. Okay, moving on the north now, Latvia. Well, Latvia spent there only 1 night, because I was going back to Russia when I already moved there, and I spent the night there. And the only thing I can say, because I didn't really enjoy Riga, which is the capital, unfortunately, even if I spent an interesting evening with a girl from the place, a local girl, it was that they lost my baggage, and they sent me back to Kazan, because at that time I was living there. Luckily, I got my baggage back. But that's the only memories that I have about Latvia. Then after Latvia, well, Russia, of course. Russia is still so far the most amazing and weird country I've been to. And as you might know, here I traveled a lot all around the country, especially when I was living in Kazan. And talking about Kazan, well, Kazan is the city and the experience that led me to move out from Italy. Even if it was like several years I was thinking about leaving my country, Kazan was the experience that made me take this decision. Or better say, like, I took action after this experience. It was in 2013 when I had the great opportunity to be a volunteer during the Universiade. The atmosphere was just amazing. We were like 20,000 volunteers, 15,000 from Russia, 5,000 from the ex-USSR Republic, and I think 183 for all the countries in the world, and we're only 2 Italians, and I was the only only Italian man there. So I totally enjoyed the time that I spent there. I was amazed by the city, amazed by the atmosphere, and so after that I decided to move. So thanks again to this opportunity that I had to be a volunteer during the Kazan Universiade. Then during the time I spent, so I'm talking already about the period of time that I was living in Russia, I visited also Abkhazia. Abkhazia is another not recognized country for many countries, but it's recognized by Russia, of course. So it's, by fact, it's a country, it has borders, but Georgia claim this region as part of this country. So they do not recognize Abkhazia as a country, as an independent country, but it is in fact, and is of course protected by Russia, where most of the Russian people spend their vacation there, not from other countries, mostly are Russian there. The only weird and funny situation that I can remember about that is that I remember that it was difficult to get in touch with the local administration because nothing is really official there. So you need a visa to cross the border, but you can get it for free just by sending an email. And I did a lot in order to get in time this visa that actually arrived a day after or 2 days after, I don't exactly remember, from the time that I was planning to visit it, because there was an organized trip. So I was worried about this document, but then after the long queue that we made to leave Russia and enter Abkhazia, well, as soon as we crossed the border, the guy who was driving the bus that was from Abkhazia, first the Abkhazian border guards didn't check any document, and as soon as we crossed the border, just opened a bottle of chacha, which is the national alcoholic drinks about Abkhazian, and gave it to us. So that was the funny situation that I encountered as soon as I get into Abkhazia. Okay, then the last 2 countries I visited no long time ago. One is China, that I visited, and you also have video on my channel about China. And what about China? Well, the only weird things and interesting about China is that in general, in Asian countries, having a fair skin is considered a plus. Not only a plus, a privilege. So people there spend a lot of money to get their skin brighter, which is a consequence, bring a different behavior when people visit the beaches. So when I was at the beach, as you can see in this picture, people they take the umbrella in order not to take the tan. So while all the way you can recognize Chinese or Asian people by the fact that they are fully clothed and they bring their own umbrella. All the other people in swimsuit, they are from the east or European country, from the West or the European country, because Asian people do not want to have a tan. Last but not least, the last country I visited just a couple of months ago was Thailand. As I told you in the video, I didn't like this country, unfortunately, but one funny and weird thing about Thailand, you know that regardless of sex and the genders, it's very open-minded, this country. And there was one advertisement that I show you here in this picture, for a mascara for men, eyelashes. That was weirdest thing I've seen. I mean, for our culture, and especially here in Russia, it's considered extremely weird. But in Thailand, this is absolutely normal. So if you're a man, you can use mascara in order to be more, handsome, attractive, or what else. Okay, guys, that's all. I know it was a long video, but the second part, I traveled mostly on the east part of the world. These are all the countries I visited so far until now. And if you are from one of these countries, you want to share your opinion, just please leave a comment below. Of course, subscribe, and see you for the next video. Bye bye.